When I started my new job, I was relieved to finally have a reason to leave my old life behind. And the building seemed perfect at first. All glass walls, polished floors, silent elevators and long corridors that always smelled faintly of dust and something metallic. My office was on the 7th floor at the very end of a hallway where hardly anyone ever walked. And during my first week, I began noticing small things that made me uncomfortable, like the elevator occasionally stopping on the 6th floor even when I had selected 7, or the lights in the corridor flickering whenever I walked beneath them. But I convinced myself that I was simply tired and adjusting to a new place. After a few days, I noticed that my computer was sometimes awake when I returned from lunch, with documents open that I did not remember creating. And once I found a photograph saved on my desktop showing me sitting at my desk, taken from somewhere behind me. Although I always worked alone. I deleted it, but the next morning, another appeared, this time showing me asleep at my desk, and the timestamp was from 3 hours before I had even arrived at work. I began checking the security cameras whenever I could. Yet every recording from my floor seemed strangely normal, except for one detail that slowly began to consume me. Whenever I entered my office, the footage showed me walking in alone. But whenever I left, there was always a second figure standing inside the room, several feet behind me, perfectly still. I stopped sleeping properly, started leaving lights on at home, and eventually began avoiding mirrors because I had developed the irrational feeling that my reflection sometimes moved a fraction of a second after I did. One evening, I stayed late to finish a report, and the entire building became silent around me, so silent that I could hear the faint hum of the ventilation system above my ceiling. At exactly 11:47 p.m., my computer screen turned black and a live image appeared, showing my office from the corner near the ceiling, even though there was no camera there. I watched myself sitting at my desk on the screen, and then I saw myself slowly stand up in the image while I remained completely still in my chair. The figure on the screen turned toward me, raised one hand, and pointed directly behind my shoulder. I could not make myself look, because something inside me already knew what I would see. And when the screen finally went dark, I noticed a second shadow stretching across the floor beside mine. I left the building without turning around. But the next morning, when I opened my employee profile, I discovered that my start date had been changed to 12 years earlier, and beneath it was a photograph of me standing in the 7th floor hallway, wearing the same clothes I was wearing that day. The worst part was that the photograph had been taken from behind me, and in the reflection of the glass wall, I could see the person who had been taking the pictures all along.